completely forgot I recorded. There was a great soundbite in there that I could have used for some TikTok videos or something, but dang it.
One's their loneliest number. Isn't there a song like that?
I think there is. But Chris or Sal, why don't you guys kind of give us a little bit of the backstory on basically how did this campaign get going? How did you eventually get in touch with this person? And we'll stop right there. We won't go any farther than that just yet.
Why don't I get the ball rolling? I'll let you pick up the multi-topic thing. We were doing nothing but texting, and we were texting and texting and texting, and we were getting nothing. We were getting do not call, stop, you're an MF, you're this, that, like everybody else. And we were getting very frustrated, and we were trying to decide what we should do. And all of a sudden, there was a call where Sean started talking about the multi-touch process of using more than one touch to get a hold of somebody because everybody's different. So and this was just about the same time as we started with Lead Vault. And so we started to build our workflows, thanks to everybody else and hearing it, about text, and then doing some other things. I'm going to let Chris take over from there.
So what we took away from the call was the multimedia aspect. It was designed we'd send 4 or 5 texts first. The next step was basically go into a postcard, notifies us. Next step was going to a letter. The next step was to follow up with the text and an email as well. So it turns out when we were skip tracing some of these, even though our skip trace service is like 97% accurate, this turned out to be the wrong number. So if we were to rely just on the text, it would have never have gotten through. The lady who had picked up the postcard, the actual postcard before the letter was even there, had then called us back. Whereas if it was just text and we relied on that, one feature of texting, we wouldn't have got it. Sounds simple, but it was the way that it was structured and the timing from text to offline back to text and email. So we're starting to experiment more. We're actually influxing more leads now with this new strategy.
You should have seen the look on our face. You should have seen the look on our face when she said, "Yeah, I got one of your letters," and we looked at each other. What letter? What did we do? When did we send that? Because it's the first time it happened. So we're turning around, we're turning Lead Vault on. We're wondering what campaign it was. And she said, yeah. And then actually it's turned into, it's a probate deal. And like Chris said, Saturday we went to the house. This afternoon we gave her an offer, and we've been playing cat and mouse with her, but we're trying to let everybody else put their offers in first. So she's going to get back with us on Friday, despite the fact that she got and this is a credit to Sean talking about nurturing, despite the fact that there's an offer that's $30,000 higher than what we offered. We're still in the game, because her message to us, I wish we would have recorded it, was that, you guys have been very helpful. You've been answering all my questions. You've been helping me through the process, because there's a lot of other stuff that we were helping her with. So anyway, so it was the multi-touch. We would have lost this at least this opportunity for a deal.
I'm still here. I stepped off the screen. I'm looking for Sal. I'm looking for the stuff that you gave me. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think was the biggest impact to her that made her decide to finally call you back or call you multiple times?
I mean, I quite frankly, I think she, and I'm noticing this too, when I text her, she doesn't respond real quick when I'm texting her now after the fact. So that falls in line with her behavior, that she more is in tune with touch and postcards and letters, which we would have never thought about doing if it wasn't for the process that Sean and Roger shared with us on the multi-touch. I think that's what it was. I don't think it really mattered what the letter said. The letter didn't have anything fantastic. It just said, your typical sympathies, this and this, we're a family business. Here's what we do. We can help you.
So Chris, let's take a step back real quick. What's the first thing in the outreach of this that you use?
Text, SMS.
So an SMS,
Yeah, there's SMS, there's emails
I
interwoven.
want to go in order. So the first thing that fires off
Okay,
in this campaign that you've been running with this, right,
let me pull it up.
is a text. What comes next, Chris?
Another text.
And then what?
For this one, another text. And this is within 2 weeks.
And this is all within a 2-week window?
Correct.
These 3 texts.
These 3.
Then what?
Then we have, Dad, do you have it pulled up?
Then we have an email. It's all through Lead Vault. Then we have another text. And I believe after that, we did a voicemail blast.
That's gone.
That's gone? Okay,
That's
sorry.
gone.
Okay, then after that, and then we did another text. So we did a bunch of texts, and the last one says, we've been trying to contact you. Do you have a plan for what's next? That kind of stuff. And we don't want to badger you, but and all that.
So
And then
7, go ahead.
No, so yeah, go ahead, Chris.
7 is now the postcard.
So now we send a postcard that Sean has an example of, which we're revising now to make it
8
even
is
better.
a letter. Yeah.
What's that?
8 is a direct letter, direct mail letter.
And then after that, 2 more texts.
Correct.
First couple texts, are you waiting for them to respond or not respond? Because that's 2 weeks. That's a lot of time.
This is for probate. So this is usually, since the nature of the style of lead is drawn out. If they respond, that's great. We're still going to be hammering them. As soon as they do, we handle it. It's more so for like warming up, getting them intrigued, getting in front of them.
Yeah, the first email, I'll just read it to you. It says, "We are sorry to hear of your loss. A probate inheritance process takes time. Be ready for that. We know we've been through it too. For now, have patience, take care of yourself." And that's all we do. And we put a link in there that says, contact us if you want to talk. We don't even bring up our name or anything. Then we wait five minutes. And then the next text says, "Oh, by the way, see the link below for something that might help you out. We also have a free guide on what to do with an inherited property." And we send them to that thing for the free guide.
Stop right there. So you're saying this text right here goes out, number 1. And then there's a 5-minute
Right.
delay before this one?
Yep, the second text goes out, but it's just like, here's something for you.
And this has the lead magnet
Right.
link inside there.
Right.
Okay. Before I get going into what I would suggest to improve this, okay? How long after, this is all happening in the first 2 weeks, these first 3 texts. What's the wait time? When's this first email get sent? At what point?
It's
How long after that text, that final text?
it's about 7 days.
Week 3.
So there's a plus 7 days. How long between the email and the next text? 4 and 5?
3 days.
Plus 3. How long between 5 and 6?
Sorry, 4 days.
How long between that text and finally mailing a postcard?
10 days.
How long between the postcard and the letter?
About 10 to 12 days.
And then how long between that and go into another text?
About 12 days for the first post letter text, and then 5 days after that. And that's it.
So somebody do the math here. We've got 14 days plus 7 is another 20, it's 21 days.
It's 9 weeks.
Plus 3, that's another what? 24 days plus another 4, 28 plus 10, we're at 38 days. "38 days before the first piece of physical material gets sent to an address that we have." You guys see where I'm probably going with this?
Too long,
What's that?
too long.
Where do you think moving this postcard, where do you think it should be moved to?
Probably
In this-
right after the email.
I'm thinking after 2.
1 or 2. 2 probably.
Yeah, because 1 and 2, these two are actually almost one text message. Is that, am I right?
Yeah, it's
Sal?
almost one text, yes.
These two are almost one, because this is kind of like the, oh, by the way,
I sent you something, yeah.
yeah, kind of like the PS in a letter, right? So these are kind of like one text. Currently, what's the wait time between number 2 and 3 in your system?
3 days.
So how do you have this at 2 weeks? If that's happening within minutes of each other, and then 3 days later, this is happening, and then another 7 days. It's actually less than 2 weeks that these
Yeah.
to the first email, right?
To the first email, it's 5, 8, 13, that's 2 weeks. 16 days. It's 16 days to the first email.
My suggestion would be this. Number 1 and number 2 stay the same. However, in the PS, in this PS text, which is number 2, you said you drive them to, it's this, oh, by the way, I've got something that might help you out, correct?
Right.
Currently, what was the link that you had in there?
Or resource guide.
What
Which
was
is on
the
the
link that you had in the text?
Now it's the Houston landing page.
Now it is. What was it
Yeah.
before?
It was going to the home page.
Okay, so-
Which had the resources on it.
Previously, I'm going to share their screen. It was coming here to the home page because down here, they had this. Do you guys see how far I had to scroll to get to that? This is more for everybody. I know Chris and Sal know this. We went over this the other day. All right, I get them on the home page and they got to scroll a couple sections down to get to this. And then is it still very clear what's this resource? So by the way, that you gave me, what do you want me to do? Everybody see how that's still confusing? So if we're going to say, oh, by the way, I've got a gift for you, Chris, Sal, this is the one that you want them to have for this particular campaign, correct?
Yes.
this is the link that you want to put in
Okay.
there. So that when they click that link in that text message, it takes them directly to this page where it's like, hey, your stress-free guide on what to do with an inherited house. Grab my free copy, right? The information that we put on here.
Okay.
Now,
Gotcha.
this is great. This is a great start. But Victor, what do you think? What would be a bonus to that page? What would help sell the fact that this guide is going to help answer some questions for you if somebody landed on that page that's not there currently?
Frequently asked questions.
That would help.
Or maybe some case studies of previous clients you've helped.
Case study would really be awesome. Done in what kind of format?
That's above my pay grade.
John,
Video,
Eric, what's that?
probably a video.
Video. Video breaking down a case study of somebody else that's inherited a house, gone through the probate process, that they've helped would be huge. But if you don't have the ability to put that together just yet, could just at least a video on that page explaining what that valuable guide is going to do for them. What's in that guide? Why is it beneficial to them? Why would they actually want to download that?
And you're talking a video of Sal or Chris or somebody talking about it specifically, or you just say pull some
Correct.
YouTube?
Oh, straight up, one of those two. Getting on a camera and saying, hey, thanks for visiting this page. This guide is blah, 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 blah. It's going to do blah, 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 blah. It's got information about blah, 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 blah. You're going to find value in it because of this, 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 and this. Really easy to get access to it. All you need to do is click the button, fill out the form. We're going to go ahead and shoot you the guide straight to your email address where you can download it. Why is this important?
You have to make it easy for the client.
Not just easy. Think through what we're talking about today.
They're
Multi-touch.
stressed and you're trying to find the easiest thing for them to do. You want the multiple touches. You just want to facilitate the movement.
I like how you ended that, facilitate the movement.
Yes.
A confused mind goes where? Use your words, Bob. Where's a confused mind? Where does it go?
Squirrel. It's just like wherever.
Like next, right?
Or-
I don't know what to do. I don't know what they really wanted. I get on this page. There's a little bit of detail, but there's not really a lot telling me what this thing is and why it's so great. I don't even know if I really want to get it. Forget it, right? Remember, the sales/acquisition aspect. The job of that is to move them through what?
the funnel.
The journey. It's to move them through the journey. Marketing gets them there. Text message. That's a media source. Gets them to this point. I'm trying to, at this stage, when I get them to this point right here, I'm basically saying, hey, let's go on a date. Chris, this is date 1 in the 4-date system. It's a big inside joke. Nobody but Chris, Sal, myself, and Roger know this one. Chris used to do this in his dating life and didn't even know he was doing it. He had a very robust funnel for his dating. But it's date 1, Chris. This is your chance to show up to date one, giving everything that you wanted to give in date one, and you're waiting to see if they respond and make date one worth asking for date two. Right? I'm here. Here's what I've got for you. If they want to move on to date number two, they're going to click the button, they're going to download it. Does that make sense there? So that's how we use our website now to be a little bit of a sales tool for us. Get them there, push them over there. It's easy, it's low threshold. It's not Sal saying, hey, call me, or Chris saying, hey, call me so I can give you this guide. It's just saying, oh, by the way, completely forgotten. I love that strategy. Wait a couple of minutes. Now it feels humanized. Oh, by the way, I got something valuable for you. Here's a link. Head over there and get it. Now, when they get there, this is the first chance. Because remember, the first piece of marketing that went out in this was what? It's a text. All they know is whatever words you wrote. You're sitting there telling me that you know that it's difficult and that you've dealt with this and that you're sorry. Those that click and go to it, now it's a chance for them to actually put a face to the brand, a connection to the brand, right? So now we take our 3-day wait period, which I wouldn't even take 3 days for this. If this was me. But number 3 would happen immediately in my process because it's going to take time. I'm mailing the postcard. Then I will go ahead and put maybe a a 5 to 7 day wait. Why do I want to move the postcard up to this like number 3 spot? Kind of like a number 3, number 2, because we know these are happening simultaneously. Why do I want to get the postcard out a little quicker?
Second touch. And if they had gotten it out, what is it, 4 weeks difference, they would have gotten it sooner.
There's that. What else? Who else got another idea?
But it's taking 4 days at least to get the postcard through the mail.
Yeah, that's why if I'm going to do it, I'm going to just nail it all. Those texts are going to fire. I'm also going to drop the postcard in the mail today. Anybody starting that campaign, right? But why do I want the postcard going? I understand you guys' thoughts. Hey, it's going to take a couple days to get there, but why do I want them getting it that quick?
Gives them something to think about.
All right, one of
They've
you at
got
a
it.
time.
They're going through probate, so they're in a stressed situation. They've got an SMS. They saw something on your website. They saw your branding. Now they get a postcard, similar branding, similar name. So it's a double hit that's not in their face, but it's supportive.
Absolutely. So, Chris, Sal, correct me if I'm wrong, this was the postcard that you guys sent,
Yes,
right? I know you guys can't fully read everything, but I'll read it to you. It basically said at the top, really big, we can help. We're local and family owned. And it says underneath it, we help with houses in pre-foreclosure, houses that are distressed, inherited properties, houses that need repair, vacant homes. We treat you like family. It has a phone number, has their logo, has a QR code. Now, minus design, because I think the design could be cleaned up quite a bit. I love what Eric just said. Mimic your branding. What isn't front and center and super clear on this?
the name and the
Mugshots.
logo.
Yeah, this right here.
Mm-hmm,
It blends too much in over here. This needs to stand out,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Everything else looks great. I think a slight little cleanup on this and all is well. However, there's a QR code there, but can anybody see, is there any writing above the QR code, next to the QR code? Did anything in what I read to you guys said, hey, scan this for something? So again, I go back to the confused mind. Are they going to scan the QR code?
Or you get somebody like me who I don't use QRs at all.
Yeah, some won't. Majority of people today do. Thank you, COVID.
Well, we've already revamped that postcard. We're in the third revision. And it, on top of the QR code, it says something about go to our, what was, scan this for a free guide or something like that. And we're playing with all this right now.
So again, I know you guys know this. We just went over this and I know you're working on change. I'm using some of this to teach here from, right? But the whole reason we want to bump this up is because we sent them these couple texts, whether they got them, didn't get them, paid attention to it, didn't pay attention to it, or whatever. This almost is the follow-up to those texts. So it almost needs to come with that messaging. Like, hey, I reached out to you the other day. I also wanted to send you this. PS, scan this code or head over to our website, right? Head over to and put the page URL, scan this or head to get your free stress-free guide on what to do when inheriting a house. All the other stuff's great. You can get it in there. I'd encourage you to use both sides of a postcard. Doesn't have to be blank on the backside. Use both sides on a postcard. But this is a cheap, inexpensive follow-up to the text message that puts something in a mailbox, right? Something on it. And if we go back to where did I tell you guys most people open their mail?
I shit can.
By the trash can.
Or yeah, sorry.
If the branding is sticking out on this and they just got these text messages a few days ago and they happen to click the link, they saw the website, whether they did anything with the guide or not, to Eric's point, it's a, hey, I'm in your face without being too overbearing. All of a sudden it's like, well, why does that seem familiar? Even if they didn't go to the website, if your text message just says anything about Ohana Legacy Properties, right? Or whatever your business name is, and now they're seeing this, why does that seem so familiar? Curiosity might get them to scan. This makes sense?
Yep.
So then immediately following this, 5 to 7 days later, what do you think my fourth step in this acquisition process would be? Currently, your fourth step, well, your final step was this text and then into an email a week later. In a revamp, what do you think we should do here?
Send them a text saying, did you get my postcard?
Who else has ideas?
Get a phone call in there.
What's one of the fun features that Lead Vault can do? Sal, Chris, Victor, anybody that's playing with it enough?
Phone call and call record.
And the ringless voice message.
Voice drop. About 5 to 7 days later, I'd hit them with a voice drop. Immediately followed with, and when I say immediately, maybe a plus 4 to 5 minutes. I'd hit them with another text. The voice drop is going to say something like, hey, this is Sean with Ohana Legacy Properties. Was just calling to see if you happen to get that postcard that I sent you, or if you've had a chance to download your stress-free guide to inheriting homes. If you're having trouble accessing it, I'd love to talk to you and see how we can get that over to you quicker. It's a voice drop. You know it's immediately going to the voicemail if it's a cell phone, right? And if we've been texting them, we know that these are their cell phones. So what do you think my text 4 to 5 minutes later, knowing what the voice drop's doing, what do you think the text is going to say?
Just left you a
Similar
voice.
Jordan, go ahead.
Just left you a voice message, just checking to make sure you got it.
That's it. Hey Sal, this is Sean again with Ohana Legacy Properties. I just gave you a call, got your voicemail. Just wanted to make sure you knew that that was me leaving you a voicemail. I already know it's going to voicemail because it's a voice drop. It doesn't actually ring, right? The voicemail carries the main message though. I don't have to put as much effort on the text. The text is just trying to encourage them to go listen to the what?
Voicemail.
Voicemail where I said, hey, a couple of days ago or last week, I sent you a postcard and a couple texts. I just wanted to make sure you have had a chance, or if you're struggling to get that, or if you need some help getting that resource guide, we'd love to help you out. We'd love to get that in your hands as fast as possible. Remember, the whole point of marketing is to what? Get them to do,
Call you.
Engage.
engage, that's it.
Okay.
I don't care if they get the resource guide. Really doesn't matter whether they download it or not. The whole point of these things is to get them to converse with me, right? Now, after this is a pretty stacked outreach in about the first 7 to 10 days of this campaign. Now we can go ahead and back it down just a hair. And maybe number 6, this is where I finally bring in an email. Maybe by number 7, another text. Maybe by number 8, I mail an actual letter. Because it's a different style piece of mail getting to them, right? Maybe by 9, 10, maybe I throw another voice drop in here.
Ohana Legacy Properties, LLC.
You guys already recording things?
What was number 5, Sean?
It was a
That
text.
was the, hey, I just left you a voicemail text.
Right, yeah. It was 5 minutes after the voice drop.
Yep, 4 to 5 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. You just don't want it to be bam, bam, like bam, they get a voicemail notification, they get a text message notification. But if I had email at 6, so maybe I'd throw an email. This could also be a text if I didn't have emails. Another text, mail, letter, voice. And what's one that we aren't doing in here that might be worth trying if we're down this deep and we haven't gotten any answer out of them?
Phone call.
Phone call. I don't necessarily want to drive all the way to the house, Bob, to knock on the door. I agree. If I'm in the neighborhood at any point in this, I'll stop and knock. But I wouldn't want to make it a point in the campaign to go and do that. But maybe by down here, I'm actually doing a phone call. And after 10 touches here, if we still haven't gotten any answer, nothing's gone on with them, you think it's pretty safe to say we can move them into a long-term nurture? Yeah, I mean, we've put a pretty solid 10-touch piece in there. The biggest part of it being really right here. These first 5 steps. This is kind of where the money, in my opinion, is going to get made. Between a couple texts, a postcard, a voice drop, a text reminding them about that voice drop. If I haven't quite got them replying to me just yet, chances are something's not right. Right? I'm not getting through to the right person, or motivation just isn't there. That make sense? Thoughts, comments, any questions on this?
Quick
Because then I do
process
want to switch
question
over to this one here, Sal.
for Sal and Chris. Hey, are you sending the SMSs out via a campaign number or your main number?
We're using the
Campaign.
lead vault number. So
Yeah.
we're sending it as, you're talking about the number we have on the postcard? Is that what you're talking about?
No, just for your SMSs that go out, your outbound SMS.
Yes, that's with our lead vault number is what we're using.
Okay.
Are you only using one number, or do you have you added extra numbers and you're saying, hey, this number is for probate style campaign?
No, right now we just have one, because we could handle the
But,
volume. on
but
just-
that's something we want to do. Yeah. Is have a separate number for each campaign. We're not doing 10 different campaigns. So, so if we have 3 phone numbers for 3 campaigns, that'll work. And we're changing with the postcards based on Sean and Roger's meeting with us on Friday. We're changing the phone number on the postcards and then the letters and everything else to that lead vault phone number, because we originally had our business number on there, but we're not capturing the information in lead vault if we have a different number.
So is it going to your,
They explained that to us and we went, duh.
yeah, is it going to your 9788 number or a different number? On your
Different
website?
number. The different number.
Okay.
Yeah. We're crossed. You can see what we're doing with this. We're crossing everything out and changing everything. So,
And it's probably a lead vault question, but how do you set that number to, because if I remember correctly, it just goes on the outbound number that you have as your primary. You can't really set an automation to whatever. So you just have to be switching your numbers back. You couldn't do like multiple outgoing. It'd just be outgoing on Monday or whatever goes out, it's going to be using this number. Then we have to literally change to a different number to send the next one out. Is that correct?
Correct. All the automations, any automated texts that are set to or scheduled are going to go to whatever the primary number is. The inbound numbers, you can have those coming into different things. So what they could do is, hey, the text message is going out from the main business line. That's perfectly normal. But could they have a secondary phone number that is on the postcard? Because now when that phone call comes in, it's like, that's coming from our probate postcard mailing or letter mailing, right? We use that same phone number across maybe the postcard, letters, these type of things.
Yeah, or you can track each one, so then you know granularly, hey, that lead came back from a postcard, even though you sent the letter. Now you can track the letter as well, so
right.
you know
Correct.
exactly which one.
Correct. You could use a second, have another number just for, because it's $1 a year
Right.
for the numbers.
Yeah, at some point, we're going to try to be able to pay better attention to the tracking of which campaign it came from, which, and then more granular, was it postcard? Was it this? Was it that?
So I want to go over this really fast. And then I think I'll talk briefly about this, but we're going to save this one for tomorrow. Going back to the page. And this is more like action items for Chris and Sal, but everybody else to think about. I would have a video right here at the top. Next to the video would be the guide. This image right here with this text above it. Same thing though, grab my free copy, the button's fine. These 3 bullet points are great here. Right underneath this, I would have an FAQ section. FAQs around the probate process in Texas. FAQs around how HANA Legacy works with individuals going through probate. Frequently asked questions of what some of the people that are in this process have asked you guys. Should be pretty simple to get a list of 10, 12, 15 FAQs that could fill an entire section underneath this. Now this page just got a little bit more robust. It got a little bit more valuable, right?
Absolutely tripled in value. Yeah.
I'd also have tell the team you want to somewhere at the top where it says at any point, if you want to get our assistance, you want to talk to us directly, feel free to call or text us at.
Would that be part of your schedule a call? Make that button bigger and then they can click that.
No, I don't even want to drive them to this point. It's basically saying, hey, at any point, if you're just ready to just talk to an actual human and not go through all of this stuff, feel free to shoot me a text back, call me at, right, this number. Kind of like what I've done here, where it's text or call. But I would have it more worded on here that's like ready to actually speak to somebody. Feel free to text us or call us at and the phone number.
What happened?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But now that page becomes, this is the key, this is like the crux of this entire campaign, right? The campaign early on is all about getting them to that page to see that report. Whether they download it or not, I don't care. It gets them on a page where there's a report that has a company branding that builds the authority to this individual who's probably being peppered by a bunch of, half-rate weekend warriors that don't have this stuff. So just by having it in place, whether they download it, read it, whatever the case, just by having it there, it helps us step away from or kind of separate ourselves from everybody else. That
And
makes sense?
Sean, just for the group, this one particular person that got the letter and got back with us, she said she had 3 other letters that she was calling. But why did she pick ours to call to? It's probably because, and based on the conversation today, she's leaning towards us, even though we may not have the best offer, is because we were nurturing her through this whole process and answering her questions and giving her some resources.
Anybody else, any thoughts, comments, questions on anything that we just broke down here?
We got a lot of work tomorrow, Chris.
Okay, tomorrow, because the other side of this whole equation, and Eric, I think you kind of started off the call saying this, the other side of this whole equation is not only are they targeting known individuals in the probate process or facing probate, but you guys are also targeting who, Sal?
Probate lawyers.
Probate lawyers. And this is something that's being sent to probate lawyers on behalf of Ohana Legacy. And I've got some ideas on how to amplify and enhance this that we talked about when we were there. That will break this down a little bit and kind of a very similar, a system on how to get past the gatekeeper and get this in the hands of the actual person that can identify that, hey, this is actually viable and I need to have a meeting with these people. That make sense? Sound good?
Yes, sir. So the one thing that I'm thinking outside of not having lead vault, this would be like a skip trace process essentially. Because having, the phone numbers and the emails and the address and all that other trash.
Yeah, the one of the services we has gives us the people that have registered for probate that have, on the courts, and it gives us, and that information is public and it gives you everything, even the attorney's names and address and everything. And sometimes they're all phone numbers, but Chris does a great job getting it through skip tracing service. And then we sort and cut and paste and scrub and do all that stuff to kind of get down to the market that we want. We're not looking for the person that has $1 million probate house. We can't do that. But there's a hell of a lot more that we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions or thoughts, comments?
You guys just keep working this whole workflows out. So when my Facebook and website leads die, I'll just come and copy and paste off of you. I'm proud of you.
Well, don't,
Oh,
thank you.
Joe.
This is with, you know, listen, Sean and Roger exposed us to all the holes we have in this Swiss cheese. But even with that, I mean, we got some leads, and we got a probate lawyer lead yesterday afternoon. And I just talked to him today. You know, it may not work out, but my idea is I just want to I want a direct link to these probate lawyers so I can pick up the phone and talk to them and say, here's what we can offer your clients. And, you know, Sean already gave us like 4 or 5 ideas on Friday on what to do. So in fact, we set up a lunch with another probate lawyer for Monday at 12 o'clock. So we're going to be going face to face with Jason's Deli and sitting down with them. And we're just going to let them, you know, they know us already, but we're not going to tell them all the stories we told Roger and Sean, but
No, I think it's awesome. I mean, this doesn't just work with probate either. That's a whole.
well,
workflow
that's what I'm thinking. I'm
for
thinking
anything, so.
if you have 1 or 2 other campaigns, like if you guys are doing foreclosures or doing divorce or doing something else, the workflow of this is basically the same process. You got to change maybe some of a lot of the wording, but it's the workflow process that I'm wanting to get it down pat, because, you know, with,
On that note, if you guys want to hang on, I'll go a little bit more.
okay. Sean, did I set you up good?
Almost a softball.
Yeah, man. Oh, God dang.
Also with a probate lawyer, if you get a lawyer that you can negotiate rates and have the go-to, so if somebody comes off the street and says, this has just happened, I don't know what to do, you've got a probate lawyer or 2 that you can drive traffic to, and maybe you do a little kickback or something, or
Well, that's already, Eric,
you
that
work
already
something out.
happened with a piece of property. Just quickly, Sean, a lawyer called us and had a client up in Dallas. Now we're in Houston. That's 4.5 hours away. It's not on market. He said his piece of property, the client wants to sell. They want it for this much. We tried, we couldn't figure out what to do with it. We could have wholesaled it, but instead, about 4 or 5 days later, we got a call from an investor in Dallas that wanted to work with us down here in Houston. And I said, well, hey, do you buy property? Yes, I do. Hey, I got a deal for you. I got him in touch with the lawyer, and the guy said, how much do you want for a fee? I said, I don't want anything. I said, I just want the relationship with the lawyer. I want that lawyer to know that we took care of a client, because now I'm gonna build off of, Chris and I are gonna build off of that. So besides that, he's a big Bills fan, so I'm gonna play that up too, you know.
So
Anyway,
You brought up-
that's what happened, Eric.
you brought up, what if it's, let's say, foreclosure? Could we just rinse and repeat, same exact workflow? We could, but watch this change. What if the first step was the postcard? But that postcard is designed in a way where it's urgent notice. Urgent notice, we can help you, but we need to act fast. Urgent notice, the world's not coming to an end, but time is ticking. Urgent notice, the bank doesn't have to take your property back. There are other options. Right? Something that's big, bold, red, urgent notice gets in their face, gets their attention, right? Whether this is pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, right? I don't care where they're at in that 30, 60, 90-day window. Hit them right away with that. What do you think my next thing is coming? What's the next step, do you think?
A voice blast. Hey, did you get my postcard?
Voice drop. Probably about 3 to 4 days. Because if I'm mailing local, pretty much can guess. If I drop it in the mail today, 3 or 4 days from now, they probably should have it. So boom, I'm gonna hit them with a voice drop, and then what's the MO? What do you think I'm gonna use right after the voice drop?
Text.
A text that
The
says, hey, did you
text.
get my voice drop?
100%. That 1-2 punch is like a staple. If I'm gonna use a voice drop, I'm gonna always follow behind with a text. What do you think 4 would be? Before you say 4, obviously the postcard, we're trying to get them onto the website to, hey, how we help people facing foreclosure. All right, video. Probably don't even need to worry about an ebook on this one or any kind of lead magnet. It's more video, FAQs, case study, testimonial, something that just helps build the credibility, right?
Tony Brody,
So then postcard, voice drop, text, making sure they got my voice drop. Time is of the essence here, right? So I'm gonna probably do 3 to 5 days after that. What do you think I'll hit them with?
I'd repeat the whole sequence.
What's the final thing that we haven't done yet that's like time is of the essence? I can go
Call.
to this
Phone call.
phone call. Phone call. And then could I wash and repeat? Absolutely. Maybe I design 2 to 3 different cards saying the same thing, they just look different. And I can run somebody through this 2 or 3 times before I realize it's probably, there's no motivation there. Move them eventually after the third time through, right? After 2 or 3 times, move them into a long term. And that foreclosure long term would probably just be a series of periodic voice drops, texts, these type of things. Why can this one be shorter and more kind of like down your throat?
'Cause it's urgent. They need to get to you quick, or I mean, they're dead in the water anyways.
100%. Probate, right? This one over here.
Could take a long time.
Forever.
Yeah, it's got a longer tail.
Not only does it have a longer tail, longer kind of nurture process. I don't want to be so abrupt and in their face, right? They're dealing with something that's probably not fun, but it's also not like, oh crap, the world's collapsing on me. It's, grandma died and I got to figure out what I'm doing with her house now. Mom died and I got to deal with that house plus my house and I can't really afford my own. So I can go a little lighter, a little slower, a little more empathetic when I'm going probate. But if I'm going to go foreclosure, bankruptcy, delinquent tax, code violations where the city's getting on my butt, something's got to happen a little faster in these situations. I don't have to be as long and drawn out. But the whole goal here, doesn't matter where it's at, voice drop, the text about it, even the phone call. I'm trying to get them on the call and talk, but if I can't get them, maybe I do follow up after that phone call. It's a if this, then that statement. You know, if they answer, this ends. If they don't, a text before I wash, rinse, repeat, drop another postcard at them, right? Too much for the day?
Nah.
Good stuff.
Does Lead Vault have a postcard sending process, or do you have to link it with another service?
It's not going to send the postcard for you, but you could put a task step where it creates a task to mail a postcard to this, and you put the contact information. So when the person gets to that task, it creates the task, and you know, oh, okay, I got a task. I got to drop this postcard in the mail today.
Okay. You can't connect another service to Lead Vault that would automate that for you?
If they have the ability with webhook, you get into some pretty advanced systems, then yes. If you had a mailing fulfillment house that could take orders via email, you could have it a certain step, have it fire an email to them with contact information in the email. That kind of thing. But out of the gate, I wouldn't get too stressed about that. I just have a bunch of these printed up, have a stack of them, and when somebody's hits that step, boom, I have some stamps handy, stamp it, throw it in the mail.
So it's not personal. The one you guys are sending is not personalized. It doesn't have their name on it or anything like that.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even go to that level. This is all just about getting something branded in the box to them, right?
When we upload them, Jordan, we upload them in groups so we can easily track as they go throughout, like a group of 25 to 50. And as they go through the stage, once they hit that, it gives me tasks. Because at first I did like a list of 100 and something, but then I had 100 and something tasks to do, and I didn't know which ones they were. So it's easier to track it with tags and lists.
Cool.
I mean, you know, Sean, we thought we had it pretty good with the multi-touch. You just took it and drilled it down even further to make it even more precise. So this is great. Except it's more work now.
Means you need to hire somebody.
Chris.
How many of you would love to have something like this all built out and done for you? It's not hard. 2-3 days, we could put 2-3 of these things together, nail it all together, have everything ready to go. Videos, pages uploaded, the whole 9 yards, design the postcards, have those ready to get printed. And then 2 to 3 days, you can have the entire campaign built, ready to go. All you gotta do is get some things printed and hit start.
Have the funding too.
They're cheap, man. Cheap.
I did those on Vistaprint. I got 800 cards for a ridiculous amount of money. And the letters we just do on Word and print them out, you know.
Yeah. Easy. We had this just elaborate, way over my head mailing system at one point, and it was just too much. So I actually like it the way you're doing it better.
Well, Chris and I sit across from the dining room table and we go at it, you know.
And it's more targeted. We pepper a zip code and you're getting a mansion and a fucking trailer park right next door to each other where I live. So it's like,
well, that strategic scrubbing that Sean discussed, we started doing that after the call with just about every list that we get. We strategically scrub. We have our criteria, and it gets us down to our box, and it's fewer numbers. We don't do 6,000 or 5,000 mail outs, but we'll do 175,
Yeah.
but they're scrubbed down, you know?
That brings up a whole other conversation. I won't go too deep into it, and if you guys got to jump, feel free to jump. I'm in a good mood to keep going today, so I'm going to keep going.
It's better than the beginning. Yay.
No, I was in a good mood at the beginning. I just throwing it out. But what's the lifetime value of a customer in your business?
Hmm.
Oh,
Who knows the lifetime value of their customer?
What's that mean?
What's that mean?
Yeah.
you've
Means
already-
how much is the a customer worth to you in the entire span of time that they would do business with you? So to give you an idea, if we actually play with some math here, a lifetime value of a Dominator client to TRC.
Hmm.
How many years would you say somebody in the real estate space is going at it pretty hard?
Say 10.
10? The lifetime value of a Dominator client, if we use that number of 10 years, meaning I get somebody at our Dominator level and they're with us for 10 years, it's just shy of $300,000. Now in real estate, what's the lifetime time frame as an investor, not agent? Victor, I'll come back to that in a second. As a real estate investor, what's the lifetime time frame of somebody for you?
If you're just buying their house, yeah,
It's one time, right?
yeah. But if it's a renter and they pay every month for
That's a different story. I'm saying as the investor, right? I'm acquiring an opportunity. That home seller, their lifetime time frame with me is one. At least I hope it's one. I hope I'm not dealing with that same person multiple times in the time I'm in business. That means they suck with money and owning homes and they probably shouldn't own a house, right? So one time. So what's the profit potential in your business, in your market for the exit strategies that you typically do?
yeah, 20 to 50 grand.
Chris, Sal, you guys like to flip. What's the average flip in the Houston area?
30K.
30K.
So the lifetime value of a client acquisition or a customer acquisition for Chris and Sal is 30 grand. Who remembers the question I posted in the Facebook, our private Facebook group not too long ago, where I said, if I could hand you something that was worth 30 to 50,000, how much would you pay for it? Well, Chris and Sal, what would you be willing to pay to acquire somebody that's going to give you 30 grand?
Me, half.
So you'd be willing to pay 15,000 to acquire an individual, an opportunity that would bring you 30,000 in income to the business.
Absolutely.
So when we look at our campaign, if this campaign cost you $15,000 to put somebody through it, and they came through it and did business with you, it's a great ROI, in your opinion, right?
Absolutely.
Well, is this going to cost you 15 grand?
Not even close.
No. But for some reason, and this isn't just real estate, I see it more in the real estate space than I do in any other business, we get nervous. Well, that campaign's going to cost me 3 grand. That campaign's going to cost me 50 grand. That's scary. Well, Chris, if you were going to spend $60,000 this year in marketing campaigns, how many opportunities would you need for you to feel happy with that? How much would you need to make off the 60 you spent?
I mean, as long as I come out at 120 at the end.
120 or more, right?
Hmm.
So if your average deal is 30, do the math.
4 deals. 5, 6.
4.
That's right.
If you did 4 for the year, spent 60,000 to acquire those 4, you made your average on every one of them, you're good. You're
We're up.
happy.
We're up. Yep.
You spend 60 to make 60. Now, is that everybody's philosophy, right? Half? Maybe not. No, Eric, you're shaking your head pretty hard. No, what would your number be?
Ideally 15 to 25%.
Okay.
Marketing and acquisition to close.
So Eric would only want to spend 18,000 to make the 120,000 at 15%. So there was no tie back to any of this. It was just opening your mind to, when it comes to sales, acquisitions, the marketing side, this front end of our business, it really is just numbers. It really is just dollars. What's the value of a person? What's the value of an opportunity for me? Well, if one person came through this funnel and my average is 30 grand, that person's worth $30,000 to me. Now, Victor, on the real estate agent side, is it common to maybe do 2 or 3 transactions with the same family, the same individual over the lifetime of them and you being around?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the average commission dollar amount that you would make representing somebody on the buy or sell of their home?
Average right now, about 7,500.
Okay. So let's say somebody that you know in their lifetime, pretty safe to say at least 3 transactions with them, right? That person's worth $22,500 to you. So their value is $22,500. So what are you willing to spend to not just acquire them, but nurture them over the time to consistently get more and more and more from them? More opportunity with them, right? Help them more, which is going to bring more in for you. That's the way you have to look at your marketing and now your follow-up campaign and that type of business. When I talk to my buddy that owns the restaurant out here, what's the lifetime value of Chris eating at my Mexican restaurant?
$500,000 a year.
You know, if the average dish is $20, Chris, how many times a week would you say you would eat out at a Mexican restaurant?
At a Mexican food place, 4.
So $80 a week, right? Chris, you're how old?
29.
He's 29, let's say 30 for easy math. Average age range of a male could easily get to 80, right? I don't know about eating Mexican 4 times a week if you'll make it to 80, but so that's 50 years, let's say. Chris is still around. That's the potential I have of keeping Chris, this customer, coming to my restaurant 50 years at $80 a week. It's 2,600 weeks. Is that right?
50 times 52 times 80.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
So Chris's lifetime value to me is little over 208,000, about 208,000.
Damn, you better start saving your pennies, bro.
So when I talk to my buddy, it's like, what would you pay to get a Chris into your restaurant and make him a raving fan who wants to be there 4 times a week if he's going to be around for the next 50 years?
Got it.
You know, is suddenly a couple free beers scary now? Is suddenly giving him a free meal, you know, for coming in, first time here, get your first meal free? Now, I say that initially, and right away he's like, oh, we'll lose money. I can't do that. I have too many people coming in for free meals. Yeah, you'll get a lot new people coming in for free meals. But what's their lifetime value if you can keep them around? Now, are you willing to give up $20? Let's say Chris drinks a little too, and his average tab, that's just off the meal. You know, Chris is a fish, he likes to drink. some margaritas. We throw those in. All of a sudden, that's like $60 a night.
When's the last time you ate for $60? Chris?
But on the sales and marketing and acquisition side of the business, this is the mindset. This is the mentality,
Yeah,
right? This is numbers. You know, Jordan, your exit is rents. So the cost, the lifetime value is the rent that property can bring. So what's your average rent?
$750.
And chances are you'll probably hold these houses for what, 20 years, 15 years?
15, 20 years, yeah.
So let's play on the short side, 15 years. So 750 a month. It's 9,000 a year times 15 years, it's $135,000. So the lifetime value of Jordan acquiring an opportunity, a property, is 135,000. So if I said, hey, Jordan, pay us 30 grand, and for every 30,000 you hand us, we'll give you one. It's a pretty decent return. Pay 30 to make 135,000 over the lifetime of owning the asset. Make sense?
Mm.
You got some wheels turning up there for some folks?
I hear the rats running.
Now, going back, Bob, to the start of this, when I said I'm going to stop doing these, right? Obviously, I will never stop doing this type of stuff because you guys are what?
Fine.
Our customers. And if you fail in business or close up your business, will you be around for me to service and help? So you're worth more to me staying in business than you are not being in business. So if it means we have to show up every single day and help, and that's why we have packages where we do things for you so that we know that it's just going to happen and it'll get done, because that keeps you around. It keeps you in business, keeps your business growing, which ultimately what? Keeps us around, keeps us growing.
Not only that, it makes you want to go to the next level, next package, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
Not you, us.
yeah. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna end the recording. Tomorrow's gonna love me on this one.